All right. Hello, 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 everybody that's jumping in. Welcome to today's webinar. I am super excited to be hosting everybody, and I would love to kick it off already and ask where people are calling from. I would love to know what type of e-learning you're currently working on. Yeah, just to get the chat flowing a little bit while we get everybody coming in and settling down. So yeah, pop it in the chat. From Oslo, very nice. Barcelona. I am currently stateside. I am in Maryland. Usually I'm based in Amsterdam. I see. All right. Philadelphia, India, Texas, Cincinnati. This is great. We're global. Greetings from Beaumont, Texas. Hello, hello from Panama and Jamaica. Oh, very nice. Very nice. All right. So yeah, we've got quite a stretch from all over the place. I love to see that. Very international group here. Well, greetings from Cape Town. I love Cape Town. I was there a few weeks ago. I hope you guys got good weather still. All right. Well, I am your host. I am Jordan. I'm going to just go ahead and kick off. I will share my screen. Let's see here. And as we are all aware, today we're going to be talking about how smart learning design looks like in practice. All right. This webinar is going to be hosted by We Are Learning and iSpring. And in a bit, I will introduce our two wonderful speakers. And all right, let's kick it off. This is me. I am Jordan McElhaney. I am your EdTech enthusiast, otherwise your enterprise learning specialist from We Are Learning. And I will be hosting the webinar today. As I said already, we will be hosted by We Are Learning and also iSpring. And just a couple of housekeeping topics that I wanted to mention as well. The chat is open. Please interact as much as possible. We'd love to see a lot of chat going on in there. We've got emoji reactions, and there is a recording that will be sent afterwards. All right. Today, we're going to explore, as I said, what smart learning design looks like, how experienced designers are approaching course creation, and how structured knowledge and immersion practice can work together. And just to kind of get everybody warmed up a little bit, we're not just going to talk about tools. We're going to go inside course creation. We're going to talk about the craft and confidence behind great learning design. We're going to walk you through how a course actually comes together, how you can bring it to life, from the thinking, from the building blocks, all the way to a full-fledged story. In the end, we're going to show you how to blend structure and immersion. And to do that, we've got Anna Poli from iSpring Solution, and we've got our very own Stine Snekkenes from We Are Learning. If you have not noticed yet, we are three ladies who are on this webinar, and that is, pretty apt timing considering that Sunday was International Women's Day. So I just want to applaud that. And I will go ahead and pass it over to these ladies to introduce themselves.
Go ahead, Anna.
Thank you. So yes, hello everyone. My name is Anna Poli. I'm a senior e-learning developer at iSpring. There's over 9 years of experience now of course creation for diverse audience and training needs. I'm also a regular speaker and instructor at iSpring events, including webinars, intensive training sessions, and certification programs.
Great. And my name is Stine. I am in Norway. I am head of customer success, but also an instruction designer. So I have 5 years of pedagogy, but also years of experience creating content. And I am super excited for this webinar. Finally, getting to talk to Anna about instructional design. So this is going to be good.
I agree. It's going to be good. I would thank you, ladies, for the introductions there. I am going to quickly share a poll, which I would love to hear, do a little temperature check, see where everybody's at on how confident are you feeling in your learning design decisions. Let us know, are you a content creation hero? Are you somewhat confident? Are you kind of unsure where the best approach is? And are you usually just sticking to your templates? Go ahead and let us know. Would love to see, where everybody is at in the chat. Okay, we see C. Okay, lots of C. Okay, B's, A's. All right, a nice mix here then. Another C, that's great. Well, very good. All right, thank you for sharing, guys. Well, the goal of today is to take wherever you are and to get you feeling at least a little bit more confident in your design capabilities. So with that, I will pass it over now to the ladies because I would like to ask another question. I'm going to pass it to you guys. How would you define smart learning design? And Anna, I'll pass it to you.
Okay. I will be the first one today, right?
Mm-hmm.
I would define smart learning design as something like moving beyond building just standalone courses to designing like intelligent connected learner systems. So
Mm-hmm.
you need to create like ecosystem infrastructure, right? In your company, a school, whatever. As AI takes over probably some routine production, our role shifts to structuring content before, right? We need to pay attention to be more flexible and pay attention to microlearning formats and linking it to skills, some performance data, personalization, and yeah. So the tools are evolving fast. So what matters more than ever is strategically and human-centered um, type of design, which we need to do to really make an impact.
Absolutely. That human touch is really essential as AI is starting to creep in everywhere. All
Yeah.
right, Stina?
Yeah, I think smart learning design for me is actually when before you start building as well. Like, I believe smart learning design is, first of all, intentional. Like, what you add to the course has a purpose, it's there for a reason. And I also think having a good learning objective that is always very fundamental, but also so important. What should the learners be able to do after they have completed the course? And also the right format to kind of target the learning objective and also the target audience. So it's a mix, but I believe the intention is maybe my answer to it.
Okay, to sum it up with one word, intention is really the key points there. Love that. Okay. Well, ladies, thank you for sharing. I hope we've already got some interesting points, interesting food for thought here. I will go ahead now and pass the floor over to you, Stina, and I will let you take it from here.
Thank you, thank you. I'll go ahead and share my screen.
All right, go ahead.
There we go. Okay. Thank you, Jordan. So, as I said, my name is Stina. I'm head of customer success here in We Are, but I'm also an instruction designer, and I want to dig into a little bit what you should think of before you start building. But before I do that, let me just quickly tell you what We Are is all about. So, We Are is the next generation course authoring tool, of course, powered by AI. So, meaning with our tool, you can create scenario based learning, immersive learning experiences with branching, with interactivities. And we have our very well known 3D characters that you can animate and make come to life. And we are industry agnostic, meaning that you can create training across all kind of industries and sectors, and we have enterprise customers or customers in general from all around the world where they every day create meaningful stories, as we like to call them in We Are. I'll dig into We Are at the end of this webinar, so don't worry. But before I do that, I would like to talk about designing with intention. As the question came just before my presentation, what is smart learning design? I think it's crucial that what we put into a course has an intention. It has some meaning, some reason why you do as you do when you design a course. And before we open any authoring tool or any course creation tool, there's an important step before the building part, and that is the thinking. And this might be my pedagogical backpack or my hat that I really think is important that you take one step back, especially now these days with AI tools. It's so easy to produce content fast. But I believe the biggest role for instruction designers is to take one step back and say, okay, how should we create this course, and what's the best way of doing it? And that is why I would go through or highlight 3 important steps to think about before you start building a course, before you start hitting that generate the button. And the first thing I would like to highlight is, who is the audience? It's important that we know who we are creating the course for, and who are they? And a target audience they can look so different depending on who they are. For example, their skill level. What do they know before? Do they know a little? Do they know a lot? And maybe they just need a refresh. It means it sets kind of the frame for the whole course creation. How much do they know before? How motivated are they to learn this? What should you do in case they're not motivated? Or what is their motivation? What's their age? Are they frontline workers sitting in an office, maybe on a construction site? Where are they located? So demographics. Or do they have any reading and writing difficulties? I have created a lot of courses where that has been a case. Okay, how can we reach this audience? What should we do with the course when that is something we need to be aware of? So all of this impact, of course, so much of the course creation. Should we have less or more text, audio? Should it be micro? Should it be a mix? Number 2 is to ask yourself, what is the learning objective for this course? So meaning, what should the learners be able to do after they have completed this course? Not know, but do. For example, should they recognize the company's strategy? Or should they be able to follow a specific procedure? Or should they know what to do in case of a fire? And this also brings me to this kind of a shift between knowledge and application. So sometimes learners just need to get the clarity and understanding of something. Other times they would actually need to practice and applying that knowledge in a real world situation. An example is, what happens if something goes wrong? They should kind of know what should I do in this situation. So I think it's important that you ask yourself, what should your course lead to? A few other examples of this knowledge versus or the application part of it is, okay, what one thing is could be knowledge about what is phishing in cybersecurity course, for example. But another thing is to what should you do when you receive an email that looks like phishing? Or, for example, in leadership training, what is a constructive feedback versus what should you do when there's an employee that doesn't deliver on timeline? How should you approach that employee? So the learning objective, it's very fundamental, but I believe it's important to highlight it as a first step before you start creating. And my last point here is also, once you know your audience, you know your learning objectives, and you're now better equipped to choose what kind of format this course should be in. Should you go for text? Should you go for audio? Should you go for images, quiz, games, test? You have so many things to choose between. Um, and what format you choose strengthens the learning objective and also reaches your target audience. That's kind of where you need to, I think that's where you need to be creative, and that's where the instructional designer's role come in. So here it's important to choose your options. For example, if you go for structure, sometimes the best approach is definitely structure, where you kind of set clear expectations, you have maybe short modules, you have examples to build on their understanding. Other times you need to work on, okay, how should I make the learners apply that knowledge? How should they be able to make decisions? Do I need to add any visual elements? Do I need some do I need to make them do or test many times, test what happens if I do A, B, or C? And maybe you should also consider, for example, microlearning. Is that a good way of reaching your target audience? The best way. In many cases, yes, but maybe in other times it's not. And that also brings me to a thing I want to highlight, and that is that everything is a slide trap. I think I feel I see this quite often, and we tend to go into one kind of format in a course. But I believe smart design is that we think is slides. The slides the only thing we need to do. Does it need to be very text heavy? Could it be micro learning? Could we add a scenario or two into the mix? Or does the learner need to practice or need to have that ability to train and practice what he or she just learned? And I think also reflecting upon what's nice to have and also what's need to have is also a very good distinction that is important for an instruction designer to do before you start building the course. So designing with attention means understanding your audience. It means knowing your learning objectives and also choosing your right format for that target audience and objective. And often that starts with building strong foundation of structured learning. And I know Anna is going to talk more about it. So how to turn learning goals into clear, effective modules. So Anna, why don't I pass it over to you to talk a little bit more about that?
Sure, perfect. Thank you. Okay, so let me share my screen. It should appear in a moment. Okay, perfect. So yeah, before I will jump into all the content that I have for you, I will just say a couple of words about our company, which is iSpring. So we are um, in the industry for over 25 years and always have been at the forefront of e-learning software design, helping individuals, teams, institutions, businesses succeed through enhanced online training. So we have more than 61,000 customers from over 170 countries. And they choose iSpring for our ease of use, which I will show you a little bit later today, and award-winning technical support. So we offer a comprehensive e-learning ecosystem, and our AI-powered offering tool, iSpring Suite, allows you to create immersive, feature-rich courses from very scratch. Okay, now let's dive in into the topic. So first of all, turning learning goals into clean modules. For me, structure is where everything begins. So before visuals, before interactions, before AI, um, you can call me boring regarding this one because it can be kind of obvious, but I wanted to mention that once again, right? If the structure is weak, no tool can save the course. When I start designing in iSpring, I don't open slides and start typing. Well, probably at the very, very beginning, I did. Um, but then I realized that right now, you need to start with some learning goals, right? What exactly should change after this training? What should people be able to do differently, as Tina said? So, smart structure means translating those goals into clean, logical modules. Like not long chapters, not information dumps, clear, focused learning blocks. And this is where micro learning becomes a strategic decision, not just a trend, which everyone is talking about right now. The modern learner is juggling more than ever, looming like project deadlines, constant notification, a quick scroll through TikTok, Instagram, whatever. And of course, the inevitable small talk by the coffee machine, if you work in office, of course. Um, their attention is the most contested resource in the company. In this environment, asking someone to block out 4 hours for a training course isn't just optimistic, it's often completely unrealistic. Those long, monolithic training sessions simply don't fit into the rhythm of their day. So nowadays, so many instructional designers embrace the power of bite-sized learning. They create these brilliant focused modules, a 2-minute video demonstrating a single software tip, a 5-question quiz to reinforce a key safety rule, or a 60-second simulation on handling a difficult customer call. So this is the genius of microlearning. It's not just short, it's strategic. So it's about delivering the right piece of information at the exact moment it's needed in a format that's quick and easy to digest. So this is what we mean by learning in the flow of work. Instead of pulling people out of their work to learn, we are embedding the learning directly into their workflow. So this approach isn't about dumping down content. It's about sharpening it into a precise point. It's respectful of the learner's time and cognitive load. And as a result, it leads to higher completion rates and, more importantly, much higher application of the knowledge on the job. So instead of building one big course, I often design a series of small connected modules. So then you break your content into modules. You're not just being modern um, or trendy. You're making it cheaper to update, easier to personalize, and faster to roll out in your LMS later. And now let me stop sharing for a moment so I can start sharing another screen. So give me just a second. It will appear in the moment on your screen. So if it's talking about microlearning, what iSpring actually can offer. So we have a tool which is part of our authoring tool, which is called iSpring Cloud. So in on iSpring Cloud, you can create, you can store and share your current courses. It can be Scrum courses. You can upload some documents, videos, and so on. And one of the important parts is that you can create your own microlearning module. And by that, I mean one and only long read or pages or scrollable formative courses, whatever you call it, like you name it. Um, so today I will quickly show you the interface of our tool and what you can do. And one of the most interesting parts, how you can use AI to work with our tool. So let's take a look at the interface. So on the left, you can see the outline. This is a place where you can add chapter, duplicate them, manage them, and etc. I will remove the second one. I don't need it right now. Here in the middle, we have the main editing section. This is where you can add your content. It can be text, videos, pictures, different interactions like flashcards, accordion, and of course, you can add modules created this VR too. I will show you, so stay tuned. And we also have some additional options like how to add collaborators, how to export it, translate your language, and etc. Now, I will show you how AI can help you create content for your e-learning projects. I'm I don't know, like to be honest, I don't know if you know what the blank page problem is. So I will go ahead and tell it to you. Um, so if you don't know what it is, first of all, you're very, very lucky. But when you need to create a course, I don't know, your manager told you that you need to create a course about mentoring in the workplace. And you open, I don't know, PowerPoint, or in our case, you open a long read, a brand new one. You need to create the contents from scratch. You just have a blank page, right? So, how to, know, um, work with that blank page problem and you just don't know where to start? So, in this case, I can reach out to my AI assistant, to AI to ask me to help, right? So here to open our iSpring AI assistant, you need just press paste on your keyboard, and I will use one of the pre-made prompts which I created, which is suggested chapter titles for a development business relationship course, and press enter, and now we can see how the magic happens. So you have all the suggested options. um, if you don't like them, you can go ahead and try again. Which one would we love? Let's go this one: negotiation techniques and conflict resolution. So just copy it and you can paste it as a title. um, Now, it would be nice to have the content of the course, right? So what are we going to do? I will add a title in the description too. I will select it, go to AI, and let's see what we can do. So you can choose the text actually like as which is a part of your long read and ask AI to generate image, improve writing, make shorter, longer, like some basic stuff, some basic options. But what are we gonna do? We will go ahead and create course outline. Okay, let's go ahead and add it. I will just add below. Or what else you can do? You can select this text, click AI, and I will click where it says Ask AI. So what I'm going to do, I will ask AI to write a theory for this chapter. And here we go. The magic happens, right? You can stop it at any moment you want, but I will give it some more time. Go ahead and replace it. So let's delete these things which I don't need. Here we go. Um, one more very interesting option which I would love to show you. So when you when you work with long reads created in iSpring, you can go ahead, click on the blocks option at the very bottom of the screen. Here you can see what else you can add to your long read. So it can be AI, of course. It can be some text and header formats. Like one of my favorite, I think, it's text on image, and I also love another one. It's not here, but I will show it a little bit later. So you can add some different lists. Here you go. You can see. And I really love to add call out, like something where you can bring your learners' attention to. You can add media. You can add different columns and tables. Infographics, you can update the numbers as you want. And last but not least, interaction. So we have quizzes, exercises, continue button, accordion, tabs, and many more. What I want to show you, like, usually when you have a theory block, you need to have a practice block too. So for this one, you can use a quiz. And if we go to new question, you can scroll down and go to generate questions. Select the chapter about that you want to create a quiz and just hit continue. I selected the entire my one chapter long read, and I will be able to see how my questions are generated. So I already have the right answer selected, the feedback messages, so I don't really have to think about it anymore, right? So I can go ahead and add it to my course. So this is how you can create a solid learning foundation, or this is from this is your starting point, somewhere that you can base on to be able to move forward, right? Some base. But now we need to add more interactions and make it fun and beautiful and very, very appealing. And I will pass the mic over to Stina so she will show you what you can do to make your courses even better.
Thank you, Anna. So easy. I love it. Okay, I'll continue on here and showing you how you then add VR to, or not how you add VR to iSpring. Anna will cover that. but I will dig into VR so you can see how easy it is to create interactive, fun, I agree, Anna, scenarios and stories inside VR. But first, I'll share a few slides here. Let me see. There we go. Yes. Yes. So, let me then quickly talk to you a little bit about designing for experience. So, in some cases, you want to add something more to the learners. You want to give them scenarios. You want to give them a practice, and a foundation where they can really test out and experience. And examples are the learners should be able to make judgment. They need to better communicate. They need to show critical thinking or practice decision making skills. And all of this requires that you're able to try yourself and test out. Another example where scenarios could be a good thing is responding to maybe a difficult customer. How should you approach that? Recognizing a phishing attempt. What happens if you do something wrong? That's always interesting. How do you navigate workplace dynamic, or making decisions, making ethical decisions? And here you need to practice. And this brings me to my favorite topic, and that is scenario-based learning. And what is scenario-based learning? Well, scenario-based learning allows the learner to step into a real situation and be a certain character or witness someone or see what happens if you take that specific role. You also are allowed to step into a moment, into a scenario, into an immersive learning experience, and you are in many cases able to make decisions. You need to interact, you need to choose your path. And that is exactly the type of learning you can create in VR within minutes. And I will now jump into VR and show you first of all a story. Let me see. Let me share change my screen. There we go. Okay, so now I would like to show you a story. It's not for a very long time, and then I'll show you after a few things on how you can create this yourself.
Strong business relationships aren't just about who's in the room. They're about making sure everyone has access to the information they need to contribute. When people are left out of key conversations, even unintentionally, important perspectives can be lost. Let's look at a short scenario.
So here we are meeting 3 colleagues. After meeting, Maya, Tom, and Alex stopped by the coffee machine. As the conversation drifts back to the project and the next steps, Maya listens, but quickly feels that she might be missing some context here. Has there been a conversation she hasn't been a part of? Let us just watch the scenario.
Alex mentioned earlier that your team is expanding the contract scope next quarter.
Yes, you are right. We're reviewing a few options internally.
Right, and when we grabbed coffee last week, we went over those pricing adjustments. Super interesting, I would say.
Maya notices the conversation keeps referring to a meeting she wasn't invited to. Tom and Alex talk about numbers and options already discussed. Maya realizes she doesn't have the full context. Without that information, it's hard for her to contribute. What do you think Maya should do in this situation?
And then we need to choose, okay, what do you think Maya should do in this situation? Should she ask for clarification in the moment? Should she stay quiet and listen, or follow up with him after the meeting? Let's go for the last part here.
Following up afterward can help you get the missing context, though addressing it in the moment may make it easier to stay involved in the discussion.
I noticed you and Alex referred to earlier discussions about pricing. Could you fill me in so I can stay aligned?
And then the story is done. small moments like this can have, for sure, a big impact, and it's important to speak up. Okay, so this was a sneak peek into what you can create in We Are Yourself. Here you can do a lot of cool things. Of course, we have our 3D characters. You decide yourself how they should be placed. And of course, you can also say, so here they're standing by the coffee machine, but you can with some simple clicks, let me just see if we can add them to maybe this office, and you decide yourself where they should be standing. And other than that, you can also, of course, easily type in your script here, and you can do the animation also quite fast. So first of all, you do have AI here to improve your writing if you need help writing the script. But when I'm happy with the scripts, maybe before I jump into the animation, I'll show you how to add a node yourself. So this is a node, and here you can say, hi, everyone. Yeah, so you write the script, you decide what the character should say. And then when you are happy with this, you can also then jump into Studio and animate your characters. So I think this is the fun part. So here you can change their idle, how they are standing. They can have all sorts of feelings. They can be typing on a computer, lying in bed, hospital bed, being on the phone. So you have all sorts of idols to choose from. And of course, you have different emotions. So you can have them to, for example, happy or skeptical or surprised, as Maya was in this scenario. And other than that, you can also choose between different gestures. So here you have many different gestures to choose from. I think this library has over 100 different gestures. And it's just a matter of double clicking the gesture you want to have in your story, and add it to your story. I would love to see this one in one of your stories. It's always fun to play around with. So it's super easy to play with and create scenarios, really involving the learners, forcing them, or I would say force them to be active in the learning process. So I think I'm gonna pass it over to Anna now. Before I do that, I just want to quickly say that when you're ready to publish your story, we do support either download as an MP4, or you can toggle on to make it a published story, where you get this player URL that you can embed anywhere you want to, and also in iSpring. So why don't you take it over from here, Anna?
I will share screen very quickly.
Hi.
Hey, you hear me?
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. So I'm sharing the screen right now. So yeah, let's pretend like I had enough time to create a very, very beautiful land grid. So let's take a look at this. This so we have some text, we have some um, text on the image. We worked on the formatting. Everything looks good and nice. And now the next thing which we need to do, here we have like primarily in this long read right now, we only have theory, right? But this is not what we want to do. Right now, this course is amazing because it has like structured content, but it's missing an immersive scenario. So let me quickly walk you through it the way a learner would do. So the structured part guide learners step by step through the core skills behind some business relations, right? So here we go. We can go through trust, You can see all the basic things, communication, and so on. Each chapter builds a shared understanding of what effective behavior looks like in real work situations. So learners are not dropped straight into scenario without some preparation. By the time they reach some interactive elements, ta-da, like this, they already have like a mental model of what looks good and can recognize it or notice when they drift away from it as they practice. Um, Now, I want to make the course even more engaging. So I will add, as you can see, we already have some we are interactions here, but I want to show you how easy it is to get this into iSpring long reads. So what as Tina showed you, you can copy a link or get an embed code from VR, which is amazing. Now, how do you insert it into your course? So, first of all, step by step, I go into the VR authoring tool, grab the embed code for the story we've created, and then I want to insert it to the very, I have it like I can promise, I can show you that I have different stories within one long read. So here we have the quiz. Here we have story number 1. So it's not necessary, it can be only on the last slide or whatever. Here we have story number 2, and I want to add one more. So I go to my very last chapter. Here I have some theory, and here we go. It's time to practice. So now let's go ahead and add the practice. I have the embed code. So I will just copy it, put my cursor here, right click, and do paste. And voila! I don't need to do like anything additionally. It will be automatically converted as an embedded interaction. It just can take a moment to load, and that's it. Now, let's go ahead and I will actually share this long read with all of you in the chat so you can open it and see how it will work on your side. But I will go ahead and preview it just to see how it will look from the learner's perspective. So in one experience, the flow is structured knowledge to set the stage. We also have immersive VR stories embedded right inside the course for some realistic practice. So here we have the quiz, some theory, and our favorite VR stories, VR interactions. And of course, we have
Strong business relationships aren't just about who's in the room. They're about making sure everyone has access to the
I
information.
believe that you heard it, right? um, and of course, we also have some knowledge reinforcement to help the learner, the learning stick. So this is why structure came first. It gives context and a mental model. Learners know what they're about to practice and what good performance looks like. This is why the stories was added. It turns that knowledge into action. So people can make decisions, see outcomes, and build confidence in a safe environment. The important point is that, as I think, and I hope that Stine can agree with me here, that two tools complement each other. So iSpring gives you a clean, scrollable, professional-looking course where you can organize content, and VR brings an immersive video-based scenario layer right inside the structure. So together, you get both clarity and realism, right? Who doesn't like that? I would love to take a course like that. Um, and this is what we mean by smart learning design. It's not just let's add an interaction for fun, or let's just let AI generate something very quickly. There is thought behind the goals, the format, and the impact, like when you think about impact, as Tina's mentioned, um, and the sequence, what should be explained, what should be experienced, where do we need practice and feedback, how do we reinforce the key ideas. So smart learning um, isn't just slides or scenarios, it's knowing when to use each, and many times it's using both together in one coherent experience. So, yeah, that's all what I wanted to show you today.
Thank you, Anna. That was very insightful. And I really hear your point on smart learning design. It's not just about adding an interactivity feature here or there. It's really about creating this immersive experience for learners, and designing with intention, designing for experience, creating these very strategic micro courses, all factors that go into smart learning design. And I think those would be my takeaways. So I know we've gone a little bit over time here, so thank you guys for holding on with us. I'm gonna just close out here quickly. I will go ahead and share the last couple of slides that we've got here. Again, Anna, Stine, thank you so much for for sharing everything today. I hope that everybody who's joined is walking away with a little bit more confidence or some more nuggets of insight into learning design. I think Stine and Anna said it very well. They're both very seasoned e-learning designers. So if you'd love to get in contact, learn a bit more, if you got questions off the back of this, please reach out to either Anna, Stine. If you want to book a demo, we dropped those in the chat as well, and we would be dying to hear from you. And just want to point out that tomorrow We Are Learning will be hosting another webinar with Stine here. She will be showing you how you can go from A to Z with our tool, and show you really how you can bring your content to life even more so. And with that, I would love to close it out. Ladies, if there's anything else that you'd like to say, then go ahead. Otherwise, I would like to thank everybody for joining again, and we will see you next time. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.